What up, guys? Vortex Productions here with Punzel and
Thomas, and today we're going to be explaining the backstory, powers, arch enemies, and all that stuff about our fictional character Matar in our comic Vortex. So I guess without further ado, let's get to it. So Elijah Martinez, which is Matar's real name, he was born in Mexico, and he was born with two grandparents, two parents, and they loved each other all very much. And they lived there for years and years, but then one day Matar's dad and Matar got very close to death because they almost got shot because they lived in a very bad neighborhood. So they realized that they had to move out of Mexico, not just the neighborhood, but whole Mexico. So they moved to America, and they moved to New Mexico because they knew that that was somewhere that they could be civilized with people that they know and know how to speak without having to learn a new language. I'm gonna pick up off where I left.
they got Okay. And the government was searching all the houses for people who didn't have their
Visa.
the visa, yeah. And they found Matar's family, right? So they deported.
They took them both. They took the parents and Matar. The grandparents are still back in Mexico. They took them all in, and Matar was sitting there for hours, and he kept circling. He kept hearing this word circling around. All the policemen were pretty much Mexican. Matar, Matar, Matar. Matar means kill in Spanish, so everyone was saying Matar, Matar, and he knew that his parents were about to die because they were in a separate room than him, and everyone was just saying Matar, Matar, Matar. He was scared that his parents were going to die. So a few minutes later, a police officer came and she said, "Come on, Matar, follow me." And she took him into a room, and there was a glass two-way mirror, and Matar's parents were sitting there on a chair with a needle, like an IV in them, and they were having a lethal injection. So their last words to Matar were, "We love you, we're sorry, son." And all the poisonous lethal injection went into them, and Matar's parents are gone.
They died.
So he got sent back to the airport, and he was on the airplane. And once he got back from the airplane, he was in Mexico now, and his grandparents were there, and they picked him up from the airplane and basically took him back home. And they were like trying to be very apologetic, saying sorry, like we're sorry this happened to you, we're sorry this had to happen to you, and they were just really like sorry for him. So years and years later, Matar was 18, so he was an adult now. He went to America. Oh yeah, he did go to America. So he told his grandparents and that he was going to America so he could learn how to fight, because if anything were like that to happen again, he wanted to fight his way out of it. They didn't agree with that first, but then they came around. So Matar got on a flight to America, and he went to America. It doesn't really matter where, I guess. But he was in America, and he was in a dojo learning how to fight, and he did that for like some years.
Yep.
And he did that until he was like 20. And then once he was 20, he was walking down the street when he met Tremor and Hush, which is two other characters of our Vortex. We'll cover them in a later video, but they were basically already formed Vortex, but it was just them two at the time.
Good more to them later.
Yeah, so he saw them like fighting bad guys, and he was wondering what was happening. So he went up there stupidly and was talking to them like, "Hey guys, what's happening?" And Tremor explained to him, this guy was just stealing from the shop, and he has a gun, and he tried to keep these people hostage. We're trying to save these people. We're trying to become superheroes like the ones in the movies. And he was like, "Cool, can I help?" He was like, "Sorry, we actually have like superpowers." And they showed him their superpowers, and he was like, "Okay, cool. We'll explain their superpowers in a later video." Well, I guess Tremor is like, obviously Tremor like earthquakes, rocks, and Hush is basically like
I'll explain that.
That's kind of hard to explain. We'll explain that later. But they basically showed him their powers. He was like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "I know how to fight." So Matar went in there and basically showed him up, and they were like, "Wow, this guy is actually pretty good." So they took them back to the Vortex base, which wasn't really formed yet. It was just like
a little warehouse or something.
Yeah, like a warehouse. and they were there, and they were teaching him how to fight more and how to use his powers to benefit him. And they did that for like months and months more, until it's now the Day of the Dead. It was now the Day of the Dead, and Matar went back to Mexico to visit his grandma and grandpa.
When he got there,
his grandpa was dead, and they went to his grave.
Sorry guys, it's a party. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just ignore the music.
So Matar and his grandma went to his grandpa's grave, and he felt chills in his spine because his grandpa's ghost basically flew into his soul and kind of took over his body, I guess, but not in a bad way. And that was the beginning of how Matar got his powers. So when he went back to America to go back to Vortex, he told them about how he got his powers, and they went on adventures and stuff like that.
Later.
Like little missions here and there, and
robberies,
they showed him his powers. He basically could turn into like a whole ghost mode. He could phase through stuff. He can go invisible. He can do a whole bunch of that stuff. He can fly, and he basically has this whole other like alter ego, and he gets like a lot more powerful. And he's basically just a lot more powerful in this mode. And I think that's Matar, right? So yeah, that is Elijah Martinez, also known as Matar.
His villain? His villain?
Oh yeah, his villain. We explained it in a later video, but his villain is Soul Stealer, because Soul Stealer actually took his grandma's soul, and that's how his grandma died. So they always had a vengeance for each other.
We're gonna explain Soul Stealer in another video.
Yeah, we're gonna explain this a lot more in another video, a lot more.
All the other characters and the base and stuff.
Yeah.
We got you guys.
But if you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a
Leave
like
a like and subscribe.
and share this with your friends so everyone can know about us if you like this video.
Comment.
And I think that's about it.
Peace.